What's going on, Lego Maniacs? It's Ty, the Lego guy here, and welcome to another Lego Star Wars comparison. Today, we're taking a look at every single standard ATTE that Lego has ever made, spanning all the way from 2003, 2008, 2013. Now, this does not include Rex's ATTE, just because it's not a standard ATTE. But yeah, this one should get interesting. We're gonna find out which one's the best based off of the minifigs, based off the model, obviously. Should get interesting, and it's kind of crazy to see how Lego's changed over the years. But enough talk, let's get right into it. And to start us off, we'll actually take a look at the oldest ATTE, and that is set 4482. It had 658 pieces, 4 minifigs, retailed for $70 US, and it came out in 2003. Now, as you can see, you get 4 awesome Phase 1 clones. Absolutely love these guys. If you guys want individual reviews of these sets, I do have them, and then, that's where you can check out the figs just a little bit more. But yeah, let's take a look at the model. And to start us off, we'll begin by giving you guys a 360 view of the 2003 model. Nice looking, I will say for its time, it's actually pretty well done. I mean, it's not perfect as we're gonna find, but it'd be a lot worse. This is really when Lego Star Wars started to get good in my books, was in the 2002 era. But yeah, what we're gonna do now is just break it down a little bit. So the first area you'll notice is the cockpit. Now it very nicely opens up to reveal the clone. You can pull her out very easily. Now my big complaint with this is why couldn't they give us a little, some controls? That would have been awesome. Why does he have nothing? But besides that, nice looking. You also get these turrets which rotate, as well as the main gun on the top, and it does do a 360. It doesn't lower or raise, it just kind of stays in place. Now getting into the meat of the set, or the body I should say, let's check her out. Now I wanted to give you guys a little bit more of a bird's eye view of this. This thing comes off very nicely, just the top of it. There is no carrying handle on it, unfortunately, but there's some stickers on it. I'm not a big sticker fan, however, I'd rather have detail than no detail. What's cool about it too is this is actually printed pieces. These are the same printed pieces that they kind of used in the ATTE for 2003, so that was a nice little inclusion. And then showing you guys the interior, has this nice little area where you can kind of seat all your clones, and you get 4 standard clones, and I do kind of appreciate that just because it's great if you're trying to army build. And then the back of here, which I really like, and this is the only ATTE that has this. There's a little speeder bike, and I absolutely love this one. Awesome looking little speeder. It's the same one that's included in the Ewok attack. However, it is in wine red, making it that much better. Anyways, great looking little model. It doesn't really have any features, but it has a nice interior. Now, the big fault with this set, which I'm going to mention right now, is if you put any pressure on the midsection, look what happens to the legs. They're not Technic, so they literally will just break right off. Like, they're partially Technics, partially brick, and it just didn't work. So that is a problem if you're playing with it as a kid. But all in all, nice looking model as it lays there. Let's just pretend it's been hit by a blaster. Let's now take a look at the 2008. And now we've come to the middle of the pack. It's the 7675 ATTE. It had 798 pieces, 6 minifigs, retailed for $90 US, and it came out in 2008. Now this model is a beauty, as we'll see. Just to zoom in a little bit more on the figs, very nice looking, good selection of figs. You also got, which was interesting, you got a stat as well included in this set. So nice looking little speeder bike. If you guys want individual reviews, again, where we get more into the minifigs, definitely check them out. But now what we're gonna do is take a look at the ATTE. And here's the model. So let's actually give you guys a 360 view. As usual, very beefy set. I love this one. They did such a good job of it. It also has nice printed pieces on the sides, again, which are similar to the 2003, although this is in the new gray, not the old gray. It's a beefy model. This is the biggest one, just so you guys know, and it can take a beating. Like, this one does not mess around. It is much more sturdy than the 2003. Now, the first area we'll take a look at is they actually got the windshield correct on this one. You can very easily open her up to reveal a little clone. And this one, unlike the last one, has controls. So I did appreciate that. It's just the small little details. Now this is my favorite feature on this set, my favorite feature out of all of them. If you raise this, it shoots out these awesome spring-loaded shooters. And they're not the spring-loaded shooters we get nowadays. They're these rubber ones, and I just love them. They actually pack a punch. They're some of my favorite ones. They're not the same one that was included in, say, the 2006 Slave 1. However, it's still pretty good. Now, getting back to the model itself, let's actually move on to the body. And first thing you'll notice is this gun doesn't turn just like the older one. However, you can lower and raise it. So it's a little bit more realistic. The other thing that's very nice about it is it has a carrying handle. So you can easily move her around. Now, to access the front area, you can literally just lift her like so, and it reveals some very nice seating. I've seen a lot of mods on this. You could very easily mod this to actually give it even a larger interior, which is kind of awesome. And then the back of the ATTE just has more seating. So what we're actually going to do, let's just take this out. There's a nice little area to store your blasters and some more seating, just like the older one. However, this one has a little bit more seating than the older one. That's just because it doesn't carry a speeder bike. I like both of the interior use. I mean, I think they did a good job on either, although this one just has nicer features and it's more sturdy and it's bigger. So, very nice looking model. Let's now take a look at the latest one, which if you can believe it, is the 2013. And now we've come to the latest ATTE. It's set 75019. It had 794 pieces, 5 minifigs, retailed for $90 US, and it came out in 2013. And as you can see, beautiful selection of figs. Let's zoom in a little bit. Absolutely love them. This is the only set you could get Coleman Trebor in, which is the Jedi with the green lightsaber. So awesome looking selection. Again, we have individual reviews if you want to check those guys out a little bit more, but what we're going to do now is take a look at the model. And now we've come to the actual model. So let's just give you guys a 360 view of her. Very nice looking. I will say this is the smallest of the three. However, it has a lot going for it. It also is quite a sturdy little model, just like the 2008. In fact, it might be a little bit sturdier. Be an interesting test, do a drop test on both of them to see which one lasts better. But to start us off, let's actually take a look at the cockpit. So similar to the other ones, however, this one completely pulls out, and this little clone has controls. So I like either of the designs, being the 2008 and the 2013. I think they both work. It's not so much the 2003 just because it has no controls. And then it also has a nice little carrying handle. However, this piece tends to come off a lot. Like, for the most part, this set's pretty sturdy. It's just some pieces tend to fall off. But what we're gonna do now, let's give you guys a view of the interior. One other feature I wanted to mention though was you do get another little turret. This one does go up or down, not quite as nicely as the 2008 because it literally just lifts here, whereas the older one kind of just moved up or down on its own. It was all more so one gun, if you want to call it that, and it has flick fire missiles. I'm not a fan of flick fire missiles because they work like that. But all in all, it is a very nice looking model, I will say that. And to access the interior, literally just raise this and it reveals more flick fire missiles. There's no seating in the front, which is really, like, if you already don't like flick fire missiles and then you have an area to store more flick fire missiles, it's just an overdose of flick fire missiles. But not the end of the world. I still quite like the model. Also has some nice sticker detail on the sides and on the top, a bit more than any of the models actually, both the 2003 and 2008. And then if you lift this, it reveals a nice looking little back interior. It has an area to store your blasters, some nice looking little control panels, and this set actually was one of the first that included one of my all-time favorite little pieces, being none other than the thermal detonator. I absolutely love this piece. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, that pretty well does the model. I do quite like the 2013. However, its features are not quite as good as the older one, and its interior space leaves a bit to be desired. But yeah, those are the models. What we're gonna do now is compare all three side by side and see how Lego's changed over the years, and give you guys a little bit better grasp of what they look like all together. And here we have them all side by side. They're actually back foot to back foot, just because I wanted to show you guys how much bigger the 2008 is. Now, as you'll see, the 2008 and the 2003 are actually similarly sized. The main difference is the 2008 is quite a bit taller. Now, moving on to the 2008 and 2013, that trend starts to change a little bit. Now you can see it's almost as tall, the 2013. However, it is far smaller. Like, he's a little dude. It's kind of like, that's the dad, that's the mom, and that's the baby. So best way to compare it, but they do actually look quite good side by side. Almost looks like different variations of them over the years. Not that that happened, but interesting to kind of see how Lego's changed over the years, and give you guys a good idea of what they kind of look like when they're literally together. Anyways, those are the sets. What we're gonna do now is get into the end of the review and find out who the winner is. Well guys, that was my comparison. Do hope you enjoyed it. Looking at all these models, I honestly love all of them. However, if we're gonna say which is the worst ATTE, I'm gonna have to go with the 2003. I do love the nostalgic look of it. I love the green windshield, although that isn't accurate. But the legs, they're not very strong. The movie accuracy of how this model looks isn't exactly 100%. And the windshield, as much as you love it, it's not actually supposed to be green. So that one's gonna be the worst ATTE. As far as the second best ATTE, I'm gonna go with the 2013 ATTE. I think it's really good, but it is quite a bit smaller than the 2008, as well as even the 2003. So this is the second best, and the very best ATTE I'm gonna go with is the 2008. You can't beat it. As far as minifigs, these sets are almost all tied for me. I mean, I will say that the 2003 is the least interesting, although it's awesome. Phase 1 clones were just fantastic. I do quite like them. And then the 2008 and the 2013, I think they're tied. They have both great selections of minifigs. They probably beat out the 2003, although I do quite like the Phase 1 clones. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this. Which one's your favorite? Which one's your least favorite? Always interested to know what you guys think. This one was tough just because I do love all three of these different models for very different reasons. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. But if you like this video, leave it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing and click that bell so you're notified for any future LEGO Star Wars reviews, comparisons that we do. We do basically something Star Wars oriented every Tuesday, and yeah, I really enjoy doing them. But yeah, that's all I got for you again. But thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.